Let's go to Florida right now. That's the state that today reported more than 15,000 new cases. That's a record high for any U.S. state during this entire crisis. Florida's recent surge now eclipsing the worst peak seen in New York State. That was back in April, reflecting this alarming spike. The positivity rate of tests in Florida is hovering right now around 20%. The hardest hit area, Miami-Dade County, home to nearly a quarter of the state's cases right now. Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber is joining us. Mayor, when you and I spoke the other day, you said the ICUs where you are were still in pretty good shape. We just learned that over 7,500 COVID-19 patients are currently hospitalized statewide in Florida. So what's the status right now of the hospitals where you are?
They're reaching their capacity. We have almost 1,900 census of patients, 400 in intensive care, 200 on ventilators, all records. You know, we're going to have to start moving regular beds into ICU beds. So we're clearly being strained at this point, and there's obviously an impact on non-COVID cases, which also need to be taken care of. So this is really straining our healthcare system dramatically.
They certainly are. So what specifically, Mayor, are you doing in Miami Beach to mitigate the surge?
Well, the county has started to roll up the carpet, so to speak. Restaurants inside are now closed. They had been open. We have a curfew. We're not allowing liquor sales after a certain time. We're trying to do the things that might limit activity. But I will tell you something. Listening to that last report, Dr. Fauci is the only person in the federal government we're listening to on the local level. Because obviously, you know, this is all falling to mayors and commissioners to not only get people to comply, but to actually do these rules that people have to comply with. And he's the only one we've been listening to. It's nuts that the federal government has decided that we don't that he's upsetting the president, so we should all not listen to the doctor anymore because we don't like what he's telling us.
I mean, it's really amazing when you think about an effort that some are describing as opposition research against the nation's top infectious disease expert, someone who's been working for decades in trying to help not just the U.S., but the world in dealing with these kinds of health crises. I know that you and several area mayors down there in South Florida have been very critical of Florida's contact tracing efforts. You said the program, you told me the other day, was woefully unprepared. So what led to this breakdown?
Well, I think what's going on is, and it's something that's sort of larger than just the contact tracing. The state and federal government officials seem to be very concerned about making sure they're not going to admit that they're unprepared or admit that they're losing ground. And all the local folks, the mayors and commissioners, have to do it. So we've been really all over this contact tracing, and which is the only way that you actually control the spread of the virus once it happens. You have people call, you know, how it works is you call people up, you call up the people that they contacted. These are all people who might be positive or are positive. And then that way you get people quarantined. And it's really a pretty big investigative effort. We found out last week that of the thousands of people that were positive in a day, only 17% were actually even contacted because the state government had not put enough contact tracers in town to take care of that. And that means that 80% were never called and told what to do, and they weren't allowed to even give the information as to who they might have been in contact with, so those people could be called and told what to do. So this is really a total dereliction that's going on right now, and I just think it goes back to the fact that part of our government, state and federal, is very worried about looking bad, and those of us on the ground who are dealing with it, we're just trying to stop this thing from surging through our community the way it is in Miami-Dade County right now in Florida.
What's the latest as far as reopening schools full-time? You're supposed to do that, I think, by the end of August for the fall semester. What's happening in Miami Beach?
Well, you know, this is just another example of it. You know, our governor and the president have said you got to open everything up, and our county school board superintendent rightly says, well, we'll follow the science and the medicine on this. We're not going to just, because somebody wants to look like we're doing fine, we're going to put people in danger. And that's what's going on. So they're trying to come up with different plans, but we're not going to follow some mandate from the president or even from the governor that says everything's got to be open. I have kids in school. I have a high school kid myself who I want socialized. Believe me, I want him in school. But obviously, if it's dangerous for the teachers and for the families of the students and the students themselves, we can't act. It's almost like these guys are untethered from what's actually happening in the communities that they purport to represent. It's very unsettling at this point.
Going back a few weeks, did you ever think, Mayor, that Miami-Dade, your county, would be at the epicenter of this coronavirus pandemic here in the United States?
No, but I'm not. But on the other hand, I'm not surprised. You know, when you have all these mixed messages, if people just followed all these rules, and my residents have done pretty well, it's just all the visitors that are coming here looking for social interactions who believe that putting on a mask is a political statement and who hear all these mixed messages. The vice president was here last week saying that our curve was in the right direction. And we all know that it's not, because it's been going straight up for the past week and a half in ways that we have not been able to control. So there's a total disconnect between what is happening and what is being said out of Washington and even Tallahassee, unfortunately, and what is happening in some of these communities right here.
I love Miami. I love Miami Beach, and I'm so sad to see what's going on right now. Mayor Gelber, good luck to you. Good luck to all the folks down there. We'll stay in close touch.
Thank you.